Texas Tech University is in a period of tremendous growth, and you need to look no further than the construction taking place on campus as an example. Billy Breedlove and his team in facilities planning and construction oversee all construction projects on the system's 4 institution campuses. Check out this episode to learn more about his area and current projects. This is Communicators in a Cart. Billy.
Chris.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Nice bow tie.
I like yours too. I had a feeling I might run into you today.
What are you going to give me riding a new cart? You know I like golf carts. And
let's go.
Yours might be the cream of the crop.
I think the key's out there.
Let's go then. I don't have
Super.
anything going
You gonna buy me a Coke or anything on this one?
Whatever you want to drink.
Perfect. I thought what I'd do is I want to show you a little bit of the Womble that's going up.
Absolutely. That's the kind of one of the, it's going to be a marquee facility on campus.
It is state of the art.
Right.
You know, we got great donors that saw a great vision for our program. And kind of what's monumental today and a milestone that we have is that we're standing up steel. Steel's been delivered, so we're starting to go vertical. And so you're going to start seeing this thing take shape. So it's pretty exciting for us when we get to see the steel go up.
You hear from Coach Beard at all in this process?
You know, Coach Beard has been active during the design phases of that, and his staff has been wonderful to work with. And of course, TTU Athletics, those guys are heavily involved in everything. So yeah, it's got great.
And they do a great job sharing their vision.
Oh yeah,
and you guys do a great job delivering it. But look at that, new steel
starting
going
to
up.
take form.
You mentioned earlier about you got about 25 projects going on the 4 campuses. Is that right? 25? Did I get that?
Yeah, 25 to 30, depending on what stage they're in.
But you handle projects that are $2 million plus. Is that correct?
$2 million and above. We are, by the Board of Regent rules, we handle those projects.
Right.
And so all 4 institutions that we have, we get to manage those. And we assist, those folks have great facilities folks also, but we assist them and help manage and inspect those projects.
So your area wasn't responsible for refurbishing the bathrooms in my office suite.
Nah, that's not me.
It was well done, but
I've got some numbers. I got some guys that if you need a call somebody and talk to them about it, I got numbers. I get a few calls, every once in a while too. About my
our
projects.
folks on campus did a great job with it.
Hey, you want to grab something over here at Calmungus?
Let's get something over here at Calmungus. Tell me a little bit about your background and how you ended up in this position.
Okay. First of all, I love construction, and my dad had a fire protection sprinkler company. So from ages 15 up, I worked in his shop in the summertime. So I would actually go in and help him fab pipe, and then he'd send me out to the field to help him put it in.
That was here in Lubbock?
That was here in Lubbock. And so it was great because I'm a young kid out there working construction. I got to see, how buildings developed. I got to be around the people, which I love, the construction folks. And so I just kind of got a love for that. And when I came to Tech, I searched around, changed majors a few times, but I settled on construction engineering technology. They didn't have construction engineering at that time, but so I just loved it and it fit, and I wanted to be out on construction sites more than just designing.
And what is that to be able to give back or work at the place where you went to school? It's more than just a job, right?
No, yeah, it's a lot more than just a job. I have so much pride in this system and where I graduated from, and what I love is when I get to go to the Angelo States and the HSC El Paso and HSC Lubbock. The atmosphere that is created there, you just swell up with pride because it is a great place to go to school, a great place for these kids. You know, the president and the chancellor and the presidents and really anybody that we deal with, they have a love for these kids. And if you're talking to Kirby Hocutt or Tony Hernandez, any of those guys, everything's about the kid. Everything's about that student athlete. Everything's about the learning experience, the collaboration of the students. And so when you're around those people all the time, it's contagious. And they have a love for the universities, and I have a love for the university. And so, yeah, it's special being a Lubbock guy and graduating from here to get to come back and build on this campus.
Well, and speaking of Kirby and Tony, you're right in the middle of the Womble Project, which we drove by, and that's going to be a pretty special place.
You know, they have a lot going on with athletics. We're always planning with those guys what the next step. They're ahead of the game, right. I'll say that, and they have a great set of donors. But you know, when they build something, and you can see that in the sports performance center that we have, some say it's the fastest track in the world.
Yeah.
Look at the football indoor. When they build, they do it right. They have a great vision, and they don't cut anything short, and it's all about the athlete and the student experience.
So we also have phase one of the Majan Theater coming to completion, and how's that project going?
It's almost done. I think in October we'll celebrate that with a ribbon cut, and now we're in design of phase two, which is more the Majan Theater itself, right. and some spaces around it. But no, I walked that building yesterday, and it's great, and I think it's a super building, super program over there, so we're wrapping it up.
When you talk about design of these buildings, are you working with architects where it's put out for bid, or are there architects on staff? How does that process work?
You know, we use
to maintain the continuity of what
we use an RFQ process, request for qualifications, right. And so architect and designers, they submit and they present their firm and say we're the right person for that job. And then we have a selection committee, and it comprises of FP&C, it comprises of the institution where that's being built, end users, people that are going to take care of the building, the deans. So this selection committee, we pick the best partner for that job, who's got the best experience in what we're trying to build. So it's a lengthy process, but it's a great process that we think we select the right partner.
How do you, when you do select architects, and maybe you get one that is new to this process or to Texas Tech, one thing that we do pride ourselves on is that Spanish architecture and that Renaissance style. How are they able to, are they provided specs, if you will, for how that looks, or do they just come out and tour campus, take a look at it?
Well, you know, first of all, we have a master plan. The last master plan update was done in 2014, but it's very well done, and it talks about the Spanish Renaissance design and the history that we have. You know, there was a time when we got away from that a little bit in some of the outside areas of campus, and it's a real strong Board of Regent incentive to stay dear to the Spanish Renaissance design. So that's a part of the selection process. We've got to have full confidence that these firms can actually present the project that we want. But I will say this, we have a staff in our office that has lots of experience with these buildings, and we give very positive feedback on the way that building should look. And we include everybody in that, from the president, CFOs, everybody, and how do you want your building to look? But we stick to those guidelines.
You know, people have said for years that if you get people to campus, especially prospective students and their families, you've got a great chance of getting those students enrolled and selling them on Texas Tech. And that's a huge part of it, is that consistency and just the beauty of the campus. And I remember a sports writer came in here back in the mid-2000s when I was working in athletics, and he said, I had no idea. And I said, you just got to come out.
Yeah.
I said, we need more of your colleagues to come out and see us. And they did.
You know, it's very exciting to hear people come back to campus. Alumni come back, friends come back that haven't been here in a while.
And they don't recognize the place, is what they say.
And when they walk through this, they're blown away. The buildings are beautiful. The landscaping has improved so much with our 1% landscape enhancement. And it is just a beautiful campus. And what I think's neat about it is you get kids from other areas in the state that might have a prettier landscaping where they came from. When they come here and they get on our campus, it's beautiful. And I think it's a very key element to recruiting. I think it's huge for donors. It's just it's a good feeling out here.
So You spent some time in Mississippi.
I did.
And what was that? What were you doing in Mississippi? What brought you back to Texas Tech?
You know, I was in the ag industry for a while, and so they had transferred me over there to manage some facilities over there. And 9 years later, they transferred me back, and I was ready for a change.
Yeah.
And that's when I hooked up with Michael Molina, previous vice chancellor, and so he hired me out here, and that's been 9 years ago.
You know, and Michael left a few years ago, and you took his role or assumed that role, and you know, something that's consistent there, not just in the buildings and how the processes go, but you guys are two pretty sharp dressers.
Well, I don't know. I've come a long way. Let's just say that. You know, the bow tie, I thought I might run into you today. So this isn't an everyday.
Well, I appreciate that. It helps. Yeah. Looking back during just growing up, let's do it in phases. So growing up to that first job when you started working in agriculture, who were some of your major influences?
My dad. My dad's probably the guy that, you know, as I make decisions every day, I can look and go, golly, I got that from my dad. And then sometimes I say, what would my dad do in that situation? So he's the guy that I got to, you know, work with him as soon as I got out of school. I got to work with him for 12 years, and that's some of the greatest times in my life, getting to work with him. And so I think that carries on. And, you know, and I've had some great leaders in my past that I pick up little pieces from here and there. So, yeah, I think it's just all, you know, just a big group of men that have done that for me.
How was the transition from working in the agricultural industry to construction and FP&C, and who was instrumental in that process of you coming on board and then eventually taking the reins?
You know, like I said, I was in the ag business. I was ready to go back to what I'd studied in school and the career that I had envisioned at one time. And so when I started looking, you know, Michael got the job out here, and I just called him one day and said, hey, I'm looking for a change. And we got together and had some meetings and started some things, and ended up, he took this job out here and just got a great opportunity to come out. So, yeah, you know, we have a great team. I want to brag on our team that we have in there. A lot of people have been there a long time. They love it, and we have such a great skill set there, and you can see the products that we're putting out, so it's a really special place.
And I would say that just as important as it is with many offices is the communication that you have. You communicate with a lot of different people, all the way from the board down to different areas on campus. So how do you juggle that, the many different personalities, the management of that process?
You know, I think I kind of go back to my roots. I was working in a shop. I was roofing houses. You know, I have a huge respect for the men that are performing the work in the field. It's hard, it's hot, it's cold. There's skill sets. You know, when you watch a man work concrete, or a bricklayer do his work, or a painter, you see that those guys have special talents, you know, so I have a huge respect for that. And just the people that are performing the design work or managing those teams, it's a very complicated business that we're in, and it takes a lot of people to work together as a team to get us to an end product. Well,
Billy, your mark on this campus and those before you is going to be felt for years to come, and I think we see it in the quality of the buildings, not just the aesthetics, but how well they're done, how environmentally conscious a lot of them are, that they're built now, and this is in your own way, it's your paintbrush on the campus, and it's going to be felt for years to come. But you and your staff do a great job.
Thanks.
And you're also one of the best dressed administrators in our system. So
I appreciate that. It means a lot coming from you. Thanks for your time. It's always fun to talk about our team and the projects that we're doing, and how the chancellor and the presidents are leading these universities. It's really exciting.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.